Dierker was 12-6 last season, we say. He had to sit out a lot of the year because of a bad arm. He's 12-6 lifetime against the Giants. Dierker wasn't able to pitch after August 8th last year. At one time, he had a 10-1 record in 1971. But came in with a bad arm. He can throw hard. He's still a very young man. Is just 25 years old. Lives now in Houston. He was born in Hollywood, California. Been with Houston ever since 1964. They didn't have a curfew for him when he first joined the ball club. They just changed his diapers late in the evening. He was just a baby when he came over to Houston, and he stuck around with them. He delivers to Willie Mays, who hits the first pitch to shortstop. Metzger, the first base, and Mays is retired for the first out. So Willie went for the first pitch, as he has each of the first 2 games of the season, and grounds out to shortstop. They think there's only one way to take you out of the ball game. Take you out to it, that is, in a 1972 Chevrolet. Caprice is the most luxurious way to do it. Chevrolet wants your new Caprice to be the best car you ever owned. Tito Fuentes will bat left-handed as a switch batter against Dierker. Takes inside low for a ball, 1-0. Mel Steiner behind the plate. Dierker has a lifetime record of 83 wins and 68 losses. High fly ball to right field. Wynn drifting back, waiting for this one. And Tito is out number 2. Dierker is 6'4", 210 pounds. He will face now Kenny Henderson. Kenny didn't get a hit last night, but he got a run across the plate when he struck out on a pitch that hit the dirt, bounded away for a wild pitch that allowed Mays to score from third. Pitch to Henderson. Swung on, line drive to center field. Cedeno is there and makes the catch. 3 pitches for Dierker. 4 pitches. He delivered one bad one to Fuentes, but 4 pitches and he retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And as we go to the bottom of the first, the score, the Giants nothing, and Houston coming to bat. John Cumberland, who won 9 and lost 6 for the Giants last year, is out there on the mound. 25 years old is John. Want to give a belated happy birthday to Giants trainer Leo Hughes, who was 39 2 days ago. Forgot to wish him a happy birthday. And now John Cumberland. You know, we said John is 25. He will not be 25 until May 10th of this year. Trying to make him too old for his time here as he delivers to Metzger, and it's outside for a ball. Metzger turned around as if to bunt, rather. Metzger is a switch batter. He'd have a little tough time sacrificing, being as he's the leadoff batter. But he was going to try to bunt test Kingman. Now he takes the second pitch high for ball 2. It's been a long time for Cumberland to be on the mound. Of course, it has been for all the pitchers as far as that goes. John relies on his control. He's behind 2-0 here. Gets a strike in at the knees, and it's 2-1. The Giants defensively, Henderson in left, Mays in center, Bonds in right. Kingman at third, Speier at short, Fuentes at second, McCovey at first, and Healy doing the catching. Cumberland's 2-1 pitches, high ball 3. He's behind 3-1. The Giants dropped behind 3-0 in the first inning last night. It came clawing back to win it 10-6. Yesterday afternoon, all right. It looked like it was night. Strike call, 3-2. Full count. The leadoff man, Metzger. 3-2 pitch. Bounded slowly to the left side. Kingman charged in front of the shortstop. His throw in time, and Metzger is retired for out number 1. Dave Kingman moving very quickly to his left in front of Speier to field that ball and throw out Metzger. Top race drivers proved it. Cars that can use unleaded gasoline can get great performance from Chevron Unleaded, specially blended with no lead added. Available only all along the Chevron way. Cesar Cedeno, right-hand batter against Cumberland. Bluffs the butt, takes low for a ball. Again, Kingman came sailing in as Cedeno hitting .375. Has 3 hits and 8 trips against Giant pitching. That is all that he's faced in the regular season. Kingman playing even with the back. The outfield backed up. Cedeno has power. Line drive to left field. Coming over is Henderson. He makes a one-handed catch just above the shoe top. That was a bullet hit into left center field, and Henderson, rushing over to his left, caught that one just above his shoe top for the second out of the inning. And now Jim Wynn, who is greeted in different fashion by different folks. Right-hand batting right fielder takes outside for a ball, 1-0. Jim has become a very controversial figure in Houston. 1-0 pitch. Ball 2. Cumberland turns that one over. Down low, and it's 2-0. Dodgers lead Atlanta 1-0 after an inning. Cleveland beat Boston 4-0. That one a final. Looping liner to left field for a base hit. Wynn has his first base hit of the season as he singles over the head of Chris Speier to left. The first hit of the ball game, and Lee May, supposed to deliver the power for the Astros this year, hitting .375. He has 3 hits and 8 trips. Big right-hand batting first baseman. After 5 innings, New York and Baltimore are 0-0. High fly ball down the left field line. Henderson coming over near the line, drifting into foul territory, makes the catch, and the side is retired. May flies out. No runs on a hit, no errors, and a runner left on at the end of 1. The score, the Giants 0 and Houston 0. Theodore Hand Company, San Francisco, and other cities. Willie McCovey leads off the second for the Giants. Willie has 2 hits and 9 trips. One of his hits was about a mile up into the right field seats, a 2-run homer in the opening game, and Larry Dierker delivers to McCovey. Fastball bounded up the middle. Metzger is playing directly behind second. He has it, throws to first, and McCovey is an easy out. 5 pitches now is all that Dierker has delivered, and he has recorded 4 outs. You know, the more you like beer, the more reason to drink Hands. If you don't believe it, ask one of the Brotherhood. Bobby Bonds, 3 hits in 7 trips, 2 doubles. He was on base 5 times last night. 3 hits. He was hit and he was walked. Scored 4 times. Dierker delivers to Bobby. Swung on, line drive to center, but Cedeno will get this one. He does. That is the second out. The Giants are going to get this one over in a hurry one way or another. That is 6 pitches now and 5 outs recorded as Dave Kingman comes to the plate. Kingman, 4 hits in 9 attempts. 1 double, 1 triple, 1 home run. 6 RBIs. Hit for the cycle last night, even though he didn't know what it meant. Takes a high fastball for a ball, so Kingman didn't go for the first pitch. 1-0. 2 down, bases empty. Outfield well around to the left. They can't get deep enough when Kingman hits one on the fat part of the bat. Dierker taking a long look. Now the tall right-hander deals off to Kingman. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-1. Breaking pitch he didn't get. St. Louis leads Philadelphia 3-0. Phil's batting in the bottom of the third. We're in the top of the second inning, 0-0. 2 down, bases empty. Kingman with a 1-1 count. Straightaway stamp. Kingman bends over from the waist and waits for Dierker's 1-1 pitch. Low for ball 2. Dierker slipped and fell that time. 1 hit in the game. The Astros have that. 2-out single by Wynn off Cumberland in the first inning. Rader, the third baseman, guarding the line and playing back deep. The rest of the infield backed up, and as we said, the outfield well around to the left and very deep. 330 down the line, 378 in the power alley. High fly ball, very high, but short in right center as Wynn and Cedeno converge, and it's Cedeno to make the catch for the third out. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And we go to the bottom of the second. The score is the Giants 0 and Houston 0. To watch the Giants. Bob Watson up here, bounds 1-on-1 hop to Kingman, whose throw is letter perfect to Willie McCovey, and Watson is retired for out number 1. Watson was the guy that Sam McDowell had trouble getting out last night. He had a home run, a 3-run shot, and 2 singles. Third baseman Doug Rader now. Right-hand batting third baseman. Hitting 125. He takes ball one. Rader, closed stance, deep in the batter's box. Swings and misses a breaking pitch, and it's 1-1. Rader has one hit and 8 tries. Now Fran Healy will go out and talk to Cumberland. One down, bases empty. Giants and Houston in the bottom of the second. 0-0. Giants have won the first 2 games of the series. 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. He changed up on him and threw him a screwball, and Rader didn't get it. He was way out in front. It's a ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 count. Infield backs up now, and the outfield deep. 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside. It's 2-2. Cumberland is not afraid to challenge hitters. He walks out there with all the confidence in the world. John's 2-2 offering. Swung on and fouled. And that one winged Mel Steiner, the home plate umpire. Count stays at 2-2. Buddy Hankin, the first base coach for Houston, and Salty Parker over at third. Joey Amalfitano is coaching at first for the Giants tonight. Johnny McNamara at third. 2-2 count. And Cumberland's pitch. Fastball outside, a full count, 3-2. McNamara and Amalfitano are certainly great for the Giants. Not only are they sound baseball men, but they're also each possess a fine sense of humor, and they're good keeping the ball club loose, keeping them happy. 3-2 pitch. Check swing, fouled off to the right. Stays at 3-2. Friday night, the Giants are home. Tickets available. More than 50 Ticketron offices around Northern California. You can purchase your ticket. The bounding ball to the left side. Kingman to his left, fields it in front of Speier. Throws perfect. Out number 2. It is remarkable to see this big fella at third base move around as quickly as he does. He has good actions over there, and he moved into the hole that time to get that sharp chopper off the bat of Rader and throw him out easily. Kingman has a good, strong arm. He can rifle the ball. As we said, great quickness for a big guy. Tommy Helms now takes a curve low, the right-hand batting second baseman. Helms hitting .286 with 2 hits for 7 tries. Ground ball, sharply hit to the hole. Up with it, Speier. Long throw. Got him. He gunned him down with that throw. And the side is retired. Speier took his right arm off and put a rifle on his shoulder and gunned down Helms at first. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And at the end of 2, the score, 0-0. The Giants home this weekend. Hope you'll be out, join us out there and see San Francisco in action. There are tickets available. The Giant box office at Candlestick Park open from 9 until 5 each day this week. More than 50 Ticketron offices around Northern California, and also the Giant ticket offices. We'll give you the addresses of those later on, but we're set to go at the top of the 3rd inning, and to tell you about the action, Bill Thompson.
Base runner is Fran Healy. Right-handed batting catcher leads it off. Healy, 1 hit and 8 trips. Fran's lost 2 or 3 base hits on hard hit balls. Dierker's let up, has swung on and missed, strike 1. Healy hitting 7th in the order, then shortstop Chris Speier and pitcher John Cumberland. 0-1 the count on Healy. Defense shaded a bit to the left. Dierker comes back to the plate, 0-1. Foul on the ground, back of the plate. Dierker in front, 0-2.
You know, Bill, there's an interesting thing. I think it's the tail end of the order's turn to win the ball game tonight. Because the top of the order won it the first night, the middle part won it yesterday afternoon.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I'll bet.
The 0-2 pitch on its way. Just outside, a slider missing. A ball and 2 strikes on Healy. Dierker taking a bit of time, now looks to Johnny Edwards for a sign. Right-hander kicks and throws 1-2. Healy checks and takes high. Two and two the count on Fran Healy. Dierker taking a lot of time between pitches. Now kicks and throws 2-2. A let-up, check swing, roller up the middle, fielded by Helms behind second. Throw is in time as May was nearly pulled off the bag at first base. Healy on a check swing at a roller back past Dierker. Helms was pulled a bit towards second base, had to go a couple of steps to his right to make the play, and did, to get Healy for the first out. Chris Speier, switch batter, batting left-handed. Chris still looking for his first hit. 0 for 7 in the first two games. Rader crowds him on the turf at third. Dierker to the plate. Gilbert in front of the plate. Edwards out, has it, throws to first. Out number 2 is again May was nearly pulled off the bag by that throw. Pitcher John Cumberland. Cumberland, left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter, and John swinging the bat very well in spring training. Dierker to the plate. Slider is a strike. Picked up the inside part of the plate. 0-1 on John Cumberland. 2 outs, bases empty. Top of inning number 3. Giants nothing, Astros nothing. The 0-1 pitch. Misses low. Dierker questioning the call by Mel Steiner. A 1-1 count. Straightaway defense by the Astros. Swing and a miss by Cumberland. A high fastball. Dierker in front of ball and 2 strikes. Big right-hander's 1-2 pitch. A bit too high. Dierker, Edwards, again not too happy with that call. Two and 2 count on John Cumberland. Dierker into the motion. A 2-2 pitch on its way. Outside, ball 3. So Dierker, for the first time in the ball game, goes to a full count on the batter. Dierker called time and tied his shoe. That's the first of the 1972 season. 3-2 pitch. Foul back off Edwards' glove. The count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cumberland, slightly closed hands, about even with the plate. Again the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Metzger on a good hop. Is short of May. Right on target. Out number 3. Again in the third, the Giants go in order. No runs, no hits, no Houston errors, no runners left on it. The end of 2.5. The Giants nothing, the Astros nothing. Catcher John Edwards, the leadoff for Houston. Edwards, left-handed batter, batting 8th in the order. Then pitcher Larry Dierker and shortstop Roger Metzger. Cumberland's pitch grounded to first base. It's foul. Fielded by McCovey outside the line. Edwards got the opening game of the series and went 1 for 3. Giants shade Edwards a bit to left field. With Mays playing at the left center. Henderson fairly close to the line. Cumberland misses inside for ball 1. A 1-1 count. A 1-1 pitch. Cumberland misses low, ball 2. Two and 1 the count on Johnny Edwards. Cumberland kicks and throws. Ground ball to first base. McCovey fielded on a tricky hop. The race for the bag. McCovey wins it. Out number 1. The ball took a bad hop. McCovey stayed with it. Makes the unassisted put out for the first out. We'll pause for station identification. This is the Golden West Radio Network.
When you want to hear the sounds of the city, listen to the Gene Nelson Show, 8 to midnight, right here on KSFO San Francisco. It's the sound of the city.
Pitcher Larry Dierker, right-handed batter. Takes high, ball one. Dierker, Major League batting average of 131. Has 3 home runs, 11 doubles. Ground ball up the middle, a high chopper. Speier behind second, has it. His throw in plenty of time for out number 2 as Dierker just jogged down the line. The Astros go to the top of the order to shortstop Roger Metzger. If you're going to buy a new car, check Allstate's Auto Finance Plan. Chances are you can save a pretty good dollar on finance charges. Metzger 0 for 1, grounded to third in inning number 1. Cumberland misses high, ball 1. Metzger, switch batter, batting right-handed. Kingman at third, McCovey at first, shortened up to guard against the bunt. Metzger takes a strike in the outside corner. A 1-1 count with 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the third. Giants nothing, Astros nothing. Cumberland's 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball hit high in the air to left field. Henderson drifting back and towards the line. Kenny with plenty of room makes the catch to retire the side. For Houston in the third, no runs, no hits, no giant errors, no runners left at the end of 3 full. The Giants nothing and the Astros nothing. Inning number 4, Dierker retired 9 in a row. John Cumberland nearly matched that. The Astros just 1 base runner. Wins 2-out single in the first inning. The Giants back at the top of the order. Center fielder Willie Mays, second baseman Tito Fuentes, and left fielder Ken Henderson. Mays grounded to short on the first pitch of the game. Outfield deep. Jim Wynn really giving Mays all the right field line. Wynn better than 90 feet off the line, pulled towards right center. Dierker to the plate. Mays bluffs the bunt, takes high, ball 1. Dierker checking signs with his catcher, Johnny Edwards. Tall right-hander kicks and throws. Mays lines one. Helms backhands it on one hop, goes to first and gets him. Mays in a line shot up the middle. Tommy Helms to his right. Backhanded the ball on the first hop. Spun and made a good throw to first base to cut down Mays for out number 1. Tito Fuentes flied to right in inning number 1. Rader in on the turf at third. The Dierker kicks and fires. Fastball looped to left center field. Cedeno on the run. Now slows up and makes the catch for out number 2. With 2 outs and the bases empty, Kenny Henderson will be the Giants' batter. Here's something to remember anytime you have a motoring need. There are more than 23,000 standard stations and Chevron dealers ready to help you along the Chevron way. Ken Henderson line to Cedeno in center field in inning number 1. Kenny batting left-handed against the right-hander Larry Dierker, whose pitch is a let-up that swung on and missed, strike 1. An 0-1 count on Henderson. Rader now playing back even with a bag at third. Rest of the defense slightly around to the right. Outfield back up, a swing and a miss on a curve, strike 2. Dierker in front 0-2. 2 outs, bases empty, inning number 4. Giants nothing and the Astros nothing. Dierker checking signs. Okays this one from Edwards. Cranks up for the 0-2 pitch. Fastball is outside, ball 1. A 1-2 count. Dierker again taking a bit of time between pitches. Now into the motion with a 1-2 pitch to Henderson. Foul back off the fist. So will drop back on the screen, directly back at the plate, and go bounding back down to the playing field. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Dierker ready. So is Henderson, the 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Slider on the outside corner. Dierker gets his first strikeout. Has now retired 12 in a row. The Giants fourth, no runs, no hits, no Houston errors, no runners left at the end of 3.5. The Giants nothing, the Astros nothing. Bottom of inning number 4. The Astros at the 2, 3, and 4 spots in the order. Center fielder Cesar Cedeno. Right fielder Jim Wynn, and first baseman Willie Mays. Cedeno, right-handed batter. A line drive to left field in inning number 1 as Kenny Henderson made a much better than average play on. Kenny racing towards left center, reaching down and picking him just off the turf. Cumberland's pitch, low, ball 1. Jerry Royce, who just joined the Houston Ball Club today, being acquired in a trade from St. Louis, loosening out in the right field bullpen. 1-0 pitch. Cedeno takes just outside, ball 2. Dodgers leading Atlanta 3-0 after 3. Philadelphia and St. Louis tied 3-3. Drive down the left field line, it'll hook foul back into the seats. Phillies are batting in the bottom of the 5th inning in that one. The American League, Cleveland beat Boston 4-0, and with Baltimore batting in the bottom of the 7th, the Orioles and New York Yankees scoreless. Left-hander John Cumberland's 2-1 delivery. Ground ball right side. Fuentes has to go far to his left. Short hop. The throw, then gets him. Good play by Tito. Right fielder Jim Wynn. A looping single to left field in inning number 1. Wynn, the only base runner thus far in the ballgame. We're in the bottom of the 4th, 1 out. Cumberland's pitch. Check swing and a base hit to right field. Bonds throws back in. Wynn falling away from a pitch. Had the ball hit the bat, Fuentes was pulled well over towards second base. The ball scooted into right field for a base hit. So Wynn is 2 for 2. He has the 2 hits in the ball game. Here's first baseman Lee May, who fouled out to Henderson. Inning number 1. May, big right-handed batter. Giants pull a defense well around to the left. Wynn is going. They've got him picked off, and his balk is called. Wynn breaking from first base. Cumberland started to throw to first and stopped, and that became the balk. John knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to back off the mound and run at Wynn, but he had made a motion to throw, and it'll go as the balk. It was a proper call. Wynn moves up to second in the scoring position. Cumberland sets. Fuentes trying to keep Wynn close at second. Breaking pitch, a check swing. We'll wait for the umpire's call. Apparently, he checked in time. It's ball 1. Curve in the dirt, dug out by Healy. A 2-0 count. To count on Lee May. Cumberland checks second base. Comes to the plate 2-0. Fastball is a called strike. That one just above the knees. Cumberland in on the count at 2-1. Fuentes right at second base. Wynn with a pretty good lead. Cumberland comes to the plate. High fly ball to left field. Routine play for Henderson, who jogs in, steps towards the line, and makes the catch for out number 2. Goes quickly towards second base. Wynn is back in. Left fielder Bob Watson. Grounded to third in inning number 2. Watson, a right-handed batter. Wynn at second, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th. Giants nothing, Astros nothing. Now it's Speier's turn to try to keep Wynn close at second. They got him picked off between second and third. To throw to third. Kingman chasing him back towards second. Lobs to Fuentes, who tags him out. Wynn tried to pull a delayed steal on Fran Healy, and Healy wouldn't be tricked. Fran saw what Wynn was up to, and Wynn, Healy, in place of throwing the ball back to the pitcher, as Wynn thought he would, was breaking for third. Healy rifled to throw to Kingman. Kingman chased Wynn back towards second. Tito Fuentes, who made the tag. So the play goes 2-5 to 4 to retire the side. For Houston in the fourth, no runs, 1 hit, no Giant errors, no runners left on at the end of 4. The Giants nothing and the Astros nothing. 4 innings total. The Giants absolutely nothing. The Astros no runs, 2 hits, no errors. For inning number 5, Lon Simmons.
Willie McCovey to lead off for the Giants, and the Astros go into that shift, although Metzger doesn't go to the right of second base. He's almost directly behind second. Rader about 30 feet off the line, maybe 35, and playing back deep. Helms on the outfield grab. The second baseman, a let-up, is a strike to McCovey. The outfield deep and around to the right. The Giants do not have a hit in the first 4 innings. The Astros have 2, both by the same man, Jim Wynn. So it's been a defensive battle and good defensive plays on each side. Helms robbing Mays of a base hit. McCovey takes a fastball that jams him for strike 2. Dierker busting the fastball in on his 5th. And McCovey started to go, checked, fell out of there, and it's strike 2. McCovey, Bonds, and Kingman. The Giants are really going to score some runs in the heart of this batting order with Henderson, McCovey, Bonds, Kingman, Healy, Mays and Fuentes leading off. It's going to be a pleasure to watch, and you can watch them starting next Friday night at Candlestick. Pitch outside for a ball, 1-2. Big weekend at Candlestick, Friday night against Houston, Saturday afternoon, and then the Fat Day on Sunday. All youngsters 14 and under receive free Little League bats autographed by Giant players when you enter the ballpark. That is this Sunday. 1-2 pitch to McCovey. Inside and low for 2-2. Dierker with a good fastball, good breaking pitches. He is difficult. You can't sit on the fastball all the time because once he gets you looking for the fastball, he puts the slider or curveball in there and you're in trouble. You're in trouble even if he doesn't with the fastball that he has. 2-2 count to McCovey, leading off the Giants' 5th inning. A 0-0 ball game. And Dierker winds for the 2-2 pitch. Ball 3, tried to jam him with the fastball again, but got it inside a bit too much that time. And McCovey has a full count of 3-2. Giants without a base runner over the first 4 innings. Helms and Metzger each making good plays to keep the Giants off the bases. Helms made 2 better than average plays. 3-2 count to McCovey. And Dierker winds for the full count pitch. A high chopper, it's foul. It was off his foot. Off his foot or off the catcher. I don't know. I think it probably hit something behind the plate anyway, other than the ground or the plate. And the count stays at 3-2. Joey Malfitano giving McCovey lots of room. He is well behind the first base coaching box, almost in the Houston dugout. The dugout is the safest place to be unless they let you wear catcher's equipment. 3-2 pitch, fouled back. Dierker's high fastball inside again. Trying to run that fastball in tight on McCovey and get it up high in the strike zone. After 4 innings, the Dodgers 3, Atlanta nothing. After 5 innings, in the bottom of the 6th, Philadelphia has tied St. Louis at 3-3. In the American League, Baltimore leads the Yankees 3-0 after 7. Cleveland beat Boston 4-0. 3-2 to McCovey leading off the Giants' 5th. A 0-0 ball game here in Houston. 3-2 pitch, a let-up high ball 4. The Giants have their first base runner. McCovey draws a base on balls. Dierker gets his first strikeout and his first walk back-to-back. The strikeout to end the 4th, the walk to open the 5th. Paying taxes is never easy, but with a Bank America card, you can get the money when you need it. Bank America card. Think of it as money. Tax money. Bring a chill to your spine when you think of that. Bobby Bonds lined to center his first time. On base all 5 times last night. Dierker pitching from the stretch for the first time. Down goes Bonds. Boy, he ripped that fastball right under Bobby's chin. Ball 1. McCovey at first. Nobody out. Giants and Houston 0-0 top of the 5th. The Giants leave here tonight. Go to San Diego for Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. And then back home for the home opener at beautiful new Candlestick Park on Friday night. 1-0 pitch to Bonds. Drive to right field. Wynn chasing this one down, going towards the line. He'll get there, makes the catch. McCovey had gone halfway and gets back into first base. Barnes just didn't quite hit behind that one far enough. He hit behind the ball all right, but Wynn was able to get over it and make the catch for the first out. McCovey had to retreat to first. Today's game being brought to you by Standard Stations and Independent Chevron Dealers, Bank of America, Allstate Insurance Company. Dave Kingman, 0 for 1. He flied to center his first time. Dierker, McCovey leading at first. May plays behind him, not holding McCovey. And line drive down the left field line. It is in for the base hit. McCovey goes to second. He'll round second and head for third. The throw coming into third. McCovey's going to be out at third base. Watson from the corner in left field with a perfect throw to Rader, and McCovey trying for third. Kingman moved up to second, but it will just be a single for Kingman. It's a single for Kingman. You can't give, they flashed a double up on the board for Kingman because he is on at second base, but you can't give him a double because McCovey, the runner in front of him, didn't advance to third. He was thrown out at third, so it's only a single for Kingman, and McCovey cut down from the left fielder to the third baseman. Kingman breaks the no-hit string by Larry Dierker with a base hit here, and McCovey cut down by an excellent. We've seen some fine throwing in this series. Pitches low to Fran Healy for a ball. Unusual in the fact that the players were off so long, you would not think that their arms would be ready after the layoff. But Henderson threw out a runner at the plate, Cedeno threw out a runner at third, and now Watson has thrown out a runner at third. And Watson is a fellow not expected to have that good an arm. He is not rated as having one of the finer throwing arms. Kingman leads at second as Healy takes the breaking pitch up high for a ball. You know, we make a lot about Kingman's quick actions at third base, the fact that he is 6 feet 6 inches, but the way the big men are moving in basketball now, it's probably going to see a lot more big men in the infield of baseball because they have the quick action. 2-0 pitch is low for a ball, 3-0. How would you like to have an infield with Thurman and Chamberlain and Jafar? You'd have to hit a home run to get it out of the infield. Of course, I don't know how they hit. They'd have a fabulous strike zone, wouldn't they? 3-0 count to Healy. First base open, Kingman at second. Top of the fifth, 0-0. Dave with the first hit of the ball game for the Giants. 3-0 pitch is high, ball 4. Dierker gave him an off-speed pitch on 3-0. He was not really worried about first base, putting Healy on there. Because the first base open and Speier up. He doesn't expect Speier to hit the ball out. And Healy had a chance of hitting it out. The walk is the second by Dierker, and Speier looking for his first base hit of the season. Switch batting this year and batting left-handed. Kingman at second, Healy at first. Pitch in the dirt, blocked by Edwards. Good save, and it's ball 1. And Dierker looks as though he might be tiring here in this fifth inning. He certainly hasn't had to throw too many pitches up to this inning. The Giants, in fact, he retired the first 5 men on only 6 pitches. The outfield only medium deep against Speier and slightly to the left. Kingman at second with good speed. Healy with fair speed at first. Healy gets the big lead, so does Kingman. Base, oh no, off the leg of Dierker. Speier digging for first, he's in, and they're safe all the way around. That was a base hit up the middle, but it hit Dierker on the leg and rolled over to May at first base, and Dierker is injured. That was a shot up the middle. It hit Dierker on the shin, his left shin. Kicked directly over to Lee May. May made a dive for the ball before he could get up and get back to first. Speier had it beaten out for a base hit. But Dierker's leg keeps the Giants from scoring a run. As Kingman went to third and had to hold, Healy is at second base and Speier is at first. Dierker seems to be all right now. He may throw 1 or 2 to see if his leg is okay, but he doesn't appear to be in any pain. That hit him right on the shin and bounded directly to May. Kingman would have scored had it not bounded directly at an infield. As it was, Speier barely beat May to the first base bag. And now John Cumberland, the pitcher, will be the batter. Dierker defenses the Giants with his shin bone. Kingman at third, Healy at second, and Speier at first. That ball appeared to be right back to the middle. I didn't think there was no way Dierker was going to get his glove on the ball. He got his leg on it. Pitch to Cumberland is low for a ball, 1-0. John grounded out to short. Cumberland not a total loss at the plate with the bat, and as Bill mentioned, he was hitting the ball pretty hard this spring. Batting right-handed, even though he pitches left-handed. Speier leads at first. Healy from second. Kingman from third. Fouled away, and Cumberland is upset with himself. He got a slider out over the plate and fouled it off. That's about as good a pitch as he's probably going to get to hit off Dierker. Between the belt and the letters and right out over the middle of the plate. McDowell drove in a run to help himself. In last night's game, Cumberland could get the Giants off in front of this one with a base hit. He'll take either a base hit by Cumberland or a Houston mistake. 1-1 count to Cumberland. 2 down. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Each club now with 2 hits. The Giants have their 2 hits in this inning. Now, the fact that McCovey was thrown out at third base becomes a very big play. Dierker winds the 1-2 pitch. Line down the right field line, but it is going to be a foul ball. Oh, would that have created some confusion. Cumberland was just a little bit too far behind on that one. As they drove it down the right field line, it hit in the seats. The seats jut out only about 5 feet from the line. Cumberland almost dropped that one in there. That would have been a passing shot down the line that would have scored at least 2 and probably 3. Dierker gets a chance to take a deep breath, and Cumberland comes back mumbling about the fates that prevented that one from being a fair ball. Bases loaded. Top of the 5th, 2 out. Dierker's 1-2 pitch to Cumberland. Base hit up the middle. Coming in to score is Kingman. Coming around third is Healy. The throw comes to the plate. It will not be in time. Healy scores, and the Giants lead it 2-0. Hanging in there tough. And drills a single to center to put the Giants out in front 2-0. Kingman is becoming one of the Giants' cheerleaders. When each time that he is headed for home plate, he is doing patty cake. He applauds the action as he crosses home plate. Well, it's good to see enthusiasm like that, and I hope you'll be out to join us Friday night at Candlestick to see that enthusiasm. Willie Mays up here now. Speier stopped at second base. Cumberland is at first. 2 runs in. The Giants lead 2-0. Mays robbed of a base hit his last time. He is 0 for 2. He looks for his first base hit. No, he has 1 hit this season and an RBI. Pitches up high for a ball. Drove in a run in the first game. 1-0 count to Mays. Cumberland at first. Joey Amalfitano talking to him. May, the first baseman, playing back seat, so Cumberland can get a pretty good-sized lead. Helms playing over fairly near second. Will keep Speier pretty close. Swing and a foul. Mays more interested in catching his batting helmet that time as he fouled the ball off. Spun himself out from under his batting helmet. That was a slider away from Willie. He wasn't going to be able to pull that ball. Going to have to go to right field with it, and he was trying to pull it and fouled it off. Giving Mays all the right field line as Wynn plays almost 90 feet off the line. Count of a ball and a strike. Giants in front 2-0 as Cumberland singles drives in 2. Mays bounds it to third, and Rader will tag third. The Giants are retired on the force out. Giants send 7 men to the plate for 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors, and leave 2 men stranded. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and it's San Francisco 2, Houston 0. John Cumberland, who's driven in the 2 runs of this ball game to give himself a 2-0 lead, is out on the mound. Want to say hello to, let me tell him, get my picture taken. I'll take the glasses off. Want to pass along happy birthday wishes to Kathy Albrecht. Her dad, Ben, from Langendorf, is here visiting us in the booth tonight. Line drive to center field off the bat of Bob Watson in for a base hit. Mays fields it on 1 hop and throws in. And that is hit number 3 for the Astros. They open up with a single. Doug Rader will be the batter now. Kathy is 17 and a Giant fan. Well, so far, this has been a pretty good year to be a Giant fan. Right-hand batting Rader against Cumberland. Pitch is hit deep to left center. That one's got a chance, and it is gone. Cumberland didn't wait too long. After driving in the Giants 2 runs, he serves up a home run and a single here, and it's all tied up at 2-2. This stadium last year gave up only 45 home runs. Cumberland now working to Tommy Helms. It takes one in the dirt for a ball. So far, the Giants have hit 3 home runs in this series, and Houston has hit 3 home runs. So there have been 6 home runs hit in the first 3 games, with the third one not over yet. Helms lines one to right center field. Bonds on the move. He's got it. Fine running catch by Bobby Bonds, but they're teeing off on Cumberland here in the bottom of the 5th. There's nothing like the excitement of Major League Baseball, and there's no other car quite like the 72 Monte Carlo by Chevrolet. The agility of a sporty car, the ride and comfort of a luxury car. Chevrolet wants your new Monte Carlo to be the best car you ever owned. Suddenly, we get some action in this one. There had been action, all defense, up till the 5th inning. The Giants scored twice, and now Houston is tied it. His left-hand batting Johnny Edwards takes inside for a ball. 1 down, 2 in. Steve Stone starts throwing in the Giant bullpen. 1-0 pitch. Edwards fouls it off, and it's 1-1. This has been quite a 5th inning for Cumberland. He drives in 2 with a single, and then is greeted by a solid single and a home run. Each club with a runner thrown out on the bases. This may have erased an even bigger inning. 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed a high fastball. Of course, you can't tell, but Wynn was on base at second base with Watson up, and then was picked off trying a delayed steal. Watson leads off the next inning with a single, and Rader hits a home run. 1-2 pitch. Curveball line to center. Mays is there waiting. 2 men are down. And Larry Dierker will be the batter. Well, this is something that certainly can happen a lot early in the season. The pitcher, Cumberland and Dierker, both going along well in command till the 5th inning, but a pitcher can come apart very quickly after not having been on the mound for a long time. Neither Dierker nor Cumberland, of course, has seen any pitching duty for quite a while. First pitch, bounding ball to Fuentes. Second hop, throws to first, side retired. And here in the 5th, 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, and no one left on. At the end of 5, the score, the Giants 2 and Houston 2.
Change the oil regularly. And if you have any doubt as to how often that should be, stop in at any one of the 20.
After 3 innings, the Dodgers 3, Atlanta nothing. Well, they're a little behind them. That's a correction. Well, they had it up here 3-0 all the way. It's in the bottom of the 5th inning now. Atlanta batting, L.A. leading 3-0. Top of the 6th inning, Tito Fuentes leads off against Dierker. Batting left-handed, line drive, base hit, left field. Going over as Watson, fields and throws into second. Tito with a big wide turn goes back to first. First, they couldn't buy a base hit. Now, each club has 4. And Kenny Henderson, who has lined out and struck out, is the batter. Another switch batter, batting left-handed against Dierker with 20. Lead at first base. Stretch. A look. And the pitch to Henderson. High for a ball. 1-0. Count of 1-0. Rader even with the bag at third and playing about 15 feet up the line. The rest of the infield shortened a bit. A throw to first. 20's back in. The outfield has to play Henderson deep. The infield shortened for the double play, so it gives Kenny a little more leeway in case he happens to drop one in between them. A throw to first and 20's again is back. This outfield not quite as big to cover as it used to be, but there's a lot of territory here. 330 down the line, 378 to left and right center, and 400 straightaway center. Henderson takes low for a ball. Count, 2 balls, no strikes. Kenny Henderson batting, nobody down, 20's at first. Dierker looks at Tito, who's inching away from first base. The pitch is high to Henderson for ball 3. Dierker may, as we mentioned last inning, have tired there. He looks like he's struggling a bit now. I don't imagine Harry Walker or Jim Owens will waste too much time, and they don't. Jim Ray is going to hustle down to start loosening up for Houston. Outfield backed up even deeper now with a 3-0 count to Henderson. 3-0 pitch. That's a strike at the knees. He didn't put it right down the middle. Got it about knee high to Kenny. Of course, there was very little chance that Kenny was going to be swinging at that 3-0 pitch with McCovey due up next. 20 away from first. Nobody down. 3-1 count. Stretch for the pitch. There goes 20. The pitch is grounded slowly foul. Tito running. And he will go back to first base. It's a full count on Henderson. Charlie Fox is certainly not afraid to send the Giants running. Even though McCovey is waiting his turn on deck. In fact, if you can get those infielders moving around, you get a chance of getting a ball through the infield, and that is Charlie's strategy here. When he's with good speed, Tito might be able to steal it anyway. Dierker in the stretch for the 3-2 pitch. 20 goes again. The pitch is popped up, playable, foul, and Tito will get back to first base. May coming in under this one and makes the catch. Henderson retired as 20 goes back to first. Darrell Evans is homered with a man on in the fifth for Atlanta. They've narrowed the gap to at least 3-2 against the Dodgers. Who's pitching for the Dodgers tonight? Bill Singer is pitching for the Dodgers. Willie McCovey grounded out and walked. 20's at first with one down. The Giants and Astros tied at 2-2. Bobby Bonds on deck. We're in the top of the sixth. Each club with 4 hits. Dierker and Cumberland dueling tonight. Dierker, a big out there, got behind on Henderson 3-0 and got him. Line drive, base hit, right field. 20's may try for third. Win up with the ball. Tito's going for third. The throw across the diamond will be cut off, and 20's is in at third base. McCovey really hung out a rope on a line drive single to right. 20's went to third. McCovey at first, and Bobby Bonds will be the batter. So, as we mentioned, a big out for Dierker was getting Henderson after being behind 3-0. But now he has to face Bobby Bonds. Edwards has gone out to talk to Dierker. Lee May looks over at the dugout. Harry Walker might be telling May to stall for some time so Jim Ray can get ready. Now May motions that he will play halfway. It means he'll play behind McCovey at first base. He will not stand at the bag. 20's at third. McCovey at first. Bonds, the batter. Bonds has lined out and flied out. Score tied 2-2. The Giants out hitting the Astros now, 5-4. Dierker a bit uncertain. Looking in for the sign. Now up into the stretch as McCovey gets his lead at first and 20's away from third. The pitch to Bonds. Swung on, bounded to third base. Rader goes to the plate, and they've got Tito in a rundown. The throw to third. Rader misses the tag. No, he tagged it. He missed the tag, but 20 stepped outside of the baseline. And Tito throws his batting helmet, and Tito is thrown out of the game by Chris Pellicudis. Pellicudis said that 20 was out of the baseline as he jumped away from Rader's tag. Pellicudis was right there and said that he stepped out of the line, the base path. 20 threw his batting helmet, and that quickly, Pellicudis threw 20. So the Giants now have McCovey at second, Bonds at first, 20's in the clubhouse, and Kingman at the plate. That is a fielder's choice. Went from 5 to 2 to 5. And Tito is out of the ballgame. Bonds at first, McCovey at second. That is the only play that Tito has. He has to break for the plate on that ball because there was double play possibilities. Tito has to go for the plate to break up the double play. And he almost got back safely to third. Dave Kingman up here now, 1 for 2, flied out and singles. Fouls it away, strike one. Kingman had a rip at that, fouled it off, and it's an 0-1 count. So the double play goes from Rader to Edwards to Rader to Pellicudis. Tito was thrown out twice on one play. One strike pitch. Bounds up there. Blocked by Edwards. Good save. McCovey holds at second and Bonds at first. Dierker is really struggling here and getting a couple of breaks that have helped bail him out. Been able to... Pardon? Well, Pellicutis, I'm almost certain, threw him out. Tito is still in the dugout, as Bill Thompson says, but I thought that Pellicutis threw him out. Swing and a miss, strike two. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just motioned you out, but he sure went with the right arm when Tito threw the batting helmet. Maybe Tito didn't understand him. 1-2 count to Kingman. 2 down. 2 on. Giants and Astros tied at 2-2. Top of the 6th. Outfield really deep and around to the left for Kingman. Dierker's pitch. High for a ball. It's 2-2. Dierker might be pitching his last inning here. He is not scheduled that. He was made the last out in the last inning, but as much as he's been struggling, it might be a fact that he would be gone from the game after he gets out of this inning. McCovey away from second, bombs from first. The pitch to Kingman. Popped up. That should be it as Lee May, the first baseman, waits for this one, makes the catch, and Dierker does get out of the inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on. And at the end of 5 1/2, the score is the Giants 2 and Houston 2. Top of the order for Houston against Cumberland, Metzger, Cedeno, and Wynn in the bottom of the 6th. Metzger bluffs the bunt, takes a strike, 0-1. Remind you that Friday night is opening night at Candlestick Park. Steve Stone starts to work in the Giant bullpen again. Line drive down the right field line is foul, and it's strike 2. More than 50 Ticketron locations, including all Sears, Montgomery Ward, and Emporium stores in Northern California. For information on the Ticketron locations where you can purchase tickets for any Giant home game, area code 415, and the number to call is 563-4622. You can also get checks by mail order by mailing the Giant ticket office at Candlestick Park. Pitch to Metzger. Fastball just inside. Good pitch. 1-2. Zip code for Candlestick Park in San Francisco is 94124. Box seats are 4.5. Reserve seats 3.5. Pitch low, ball 2. 2-2. Score tied here at 2 apiece. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Cumberland drove in 2 in the 5th. Rader hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 5th. A 2-2 pitch to Metzger. High and outside for ball 3. Cumberland got in front of Metzger 0-2. Now has gone to the end of the string at 3-2. His 3-2 pitch fouled away. Metzger took a late swing at that ball and just tried to chop at it. Fouled it off. Metzger, Cedeno, and Wynn, the top of the batting order for Houston in the bottom of the 6th. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Giants. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Houston. Ball 4, he walked in. Cumberland gives up his first base on balls. It comes to the leadoff batter, and Cedeno, who is lined out and grounded out, will be the batter. Healy goes out to talk to Cumberland. Speier comes in to say something to him. And Tito Fuentes was not thrown out of the game. He's in there at second base. He comes out there. I thought that Pellicutis had certainly thrown him out. He made a motion with his arm, but he must have just been being emphatic about the fact that Tito was out of the baseline. So Fuentes remains at second base. Hope you will excuse me for not mentioning that Tito was back in there at the start of the inning. But he is in the ball game, and he was not thrown out by Pellicutis, even though Pellicutis made the emphatic gesture when Tito threw his helmet. Ground ball to Fuentes at second base. He will have to go to first. They had the hit and run on. Metzger was going. It was a perfect double play ball except for one thing, that Metzger was running, and Tito had no chance to feed Speier for the force out. And Metzger moves up to second as Fuentes throws out Cedeno from 4 to 3. And now Jim Wynn, who's 2 for 2, is up there. Wynn is single to left and single to right. Score tied at 2-2, bottom of the 6th. Cumberland taking a long look at the sign, now takes his stretch. His pitch, high for a ball, 1-0. Wynn and then Lee May. Outfield very deep for Wynn. Metzger getting a lead. Fuentes playing over close to second. They might try to pick Metzger off. The pitch to Wynn is outside for a ball. 2-0. Two and nothing count to Wynn. Metzger moves away from second base. Cumberland glances back, comes to the plate. Wynn grounds one to the left side. Through Kingman into left field. As he went to his left, he couldn't feel it. Metzger goes to third. No, now Henderson comes running into the infield with the ball. As he started to throw, Wynn bluffed for second. Metzger had to go to third. He went back to second because Kingman going to his left to field that ball. Metzger didn't know whether it would go through. It did go through for a base hit. Metzger wound up at third. Wynn is safe at first. His third hit, Charlie Fox comes out to talk. Steve Stone has been throwing in the bullpen. It might be all for Cumberland with the right-hand batting Lee May up here, although he is flat out twice against Cumberland. The Fox decides to make a change or stays with Cumberland. That was a bullet to the left side. Kingman, a do or you don't, going to his left. The ball was by him into left field, but Metzger could not score because he headed back for second as Kingman was moving towards second base to try to field the ball. Fox will stay with Cumberland in this spot. The Giants needing a double play ball here. May is the big man now with runners at first and third and only one out. Metzger at third. Wynn at first. Cumberland pitching to the powerful Lee May. John takes the stretch. His pitch to May. Outside for a ball. 1-0. A crucial spot here. The Giants have turned over double plays. Behind Maricello, the bases loaded. They got one in the first game. Now, they could use one with runners at first and third and one down. High, ball 2. Cumberland behind 2-0 to Lee May. Baltimore has defeated the Yankees 4-0. Wynn leads from first. Metzger from third. A 2-0 pitch. Top foul out of play, and it's 2-1. Each club with 5 hits. Metzger getting a fair-sized lead at third as Kingman is playing deep. Line drive, base hit, left field. Going over to field, it is Henderson. Wynn will hold it second as Henderson throws in. Metzger scores. And Houston leads it by a score of 3-2. That may be all for Cumberland now as Fox is up on top of the dugout steps, and here comes Charlie, and that will be all for Cumberland. Steve Stone will be the Giant pitcher now. Cumberland runs into trouble here in the 6th inning, and so we mentioned about running before. In this inning, the Astros set up the inning by having Metzger run because Cedeno hit a perfect double play ball, but with Metzger running on the pitch, he was able to get to second before the Giants could try for the double play. They got the one out. But rather than erasing 2, they got just 1, and Wynn and May following with singles, getting a run and sending Cumberland to the showers. It was not an unimpressive performance by Cumberland, however. He pitched very well. Ran into difficulty here in this 6th inning. Had he been pitching in either of the first 2 games, he would be ahead. Steve Stone will make his first appearance of 1972. Cumberland goes 5 and a 3rd inning. Has given up 3 runs, is responsible for 2 runners on there. Been touched for 6 hits. He didn't strike out anyone. He walked 1 batter. Stone will be pitching to Bob Watson with 1 down and 2 on. Stone had a brilliant spring last year and started out all right with the Giants. Wound up with a 5-9 record. Lost his confidence in the middle of the year and didn't go too much to his fastball. Tough year for the young man last year because, as I say, he had a real good spring and a fine start. Had a couple of shutouts. Shut out the Pittsburgh Pirates 2-0. can do that. He has to do a pretty good job. He threw the ball very good this spring. And now he is out here to work in relief. This year, we will be awarding to the Giants Player of the Week each week 17-jewel Ricoh men's wristwatch. All Ricoh wristwatches have the day, date, shock resistant, water resistant, so each week we will be awarding a Ricoh watch to the Giants Player of the Week. Now, ready to go as Stone pitches to Bob Watson. Runners at first and second. A broken bat base hit to right field. Coming in to score is Wynn, going to third. And in at third base is May as Watson hit the first pitch. And I believe he broke his bat on that one, but he got it through the right side for a base hit, and it's 4-2. 7 hits for the Astros now. That one just sliced by McCovey. And Doug Rader, who hit a 2-run homer his first time, or his second time up tonight, last time at bat, will be up here. Ron Bryant and Jerry Johnson throwing the bullpen for the Giants. We're in the bottom of the sixth. Runners at first and third. Stone delivers to Rader. Breaking pitch high and outside for a ball. 1-0. Houston in front for the first time. 4-2. Stone stretched. The pitch to Rader. High fastball for a ball. 2-0. And this was Steve's problem last year, getting behind on the hitters, his control. He has good stuff. If he can get out in front of the hitters, he's got a chance. He is behind 2 balls, no strikes. He didn't have too much of a chance to get out in front of Watson. Watson hit the first pitch. High pop-up on the infield. 20's going back to short right to make the catch. The runners will hold, and Rader pops up for the second out. That'll bring on Tommy Helms. We'll pause for station identification. This is the Golden West Radio Network.
When you want to hear the sounds of the city, listen to the Terry McGovern Show, 4 to 8, right here on KSFO in San Francisco. It's the sound of the city.
Tommy Helms batting with runners at first and third. Jim Ray starts to throw in the bullpen again for Houston. Stone lobs the throw to first. Helms, the 7th man to bat in the inning, as Houston has scored twice to take a 4-2 lead. The pitch to Helms. Line foul to the right. Look out. Strike one. Steve getting his pitches up here, and Helms was behind on that pitch. He got it by him, but it was still up where he could hit it solidly, but he fortunately hit it foul. May at third. Watson at first. 2 men down. Stone in relief of starter John Cumberland. Curveball bounded to short. Big hop to Speier. Throws behind him to Fuentes covering. And the side is retired. In the 6th. 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors and 2 runners left on. And at the end of 6, the score is Houston 4 and the Giants 2. City. Well, we mentioned about Tito Fuentes. We thought he'd been thrown out by Chris Speier. And the rule was changed that a player is not automatically ejected if he throws his batting helmet. But the umpire can fine the player, and that is apparently what happened. Chris Speier will recommend, I guess it has to be a recommendation of the league office, that he be fined $100 for throwing his helmet, but he stays in the game. 7th inning, here's Bill Self.
Fran Healy leading off for the Giants takes a breaking ball inside ball 1. Chris Speier in the on-deck circle, and the pitching spot due to bat third. Jim Ray continues to throw in the bullpen for Houston as Larry Dierker comes to the plate 1-0. Slider good on the outside corner. A 1-1 count. Astros defense around to the left. The outfield backed up. Dierker's 1-1 pitch. Line drive, base hit right field. Over the field at Wynn. Healy turns at first and holds with a single as Fran Healy gets a solid base hit to right field to open up the top of the 7th. Chris Speier will be the batter. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Chevrolet's 1972 cars, Ham's Beer, and Colgate's Dollar Savers. Speier, thrown out by the catcher in the 3rd inning on a dribbler in front of the plate, had an infield hit in the 5th, a shot off Dierker's leg. Healy had grounded out and walked his 2 previous trips. Healy with a short lead. May playing a step off the bag. Speier takes low and away, ball one. Bryant and Johnson continue to throw in the Giant bullpen. Dierker into the set position. Healy away from first. 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. Dierker took something off the breaking pitch and had Speier out in front. A 1-1 count. Speier batting left-handed against the Houston right-hander. Infield, double play deep. Outfield, shading Speier a bit to the left. Watson really guarding the line in left field. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball is a called strike on the outside corner. Dierker in front, 1-2. Stone in the on-deck circle. Jim Howard is also at the bat rack. Healy a lead. The 1-2 pitch to Speier. Just outside a close pitch. Again, Dierker trying to get the outside corner with that fastball and just missed with it. Dierker and Speier at a count of 2-2. Healy a short lead at first. Dierker looks there, comes to the plate 2-2. Speier fouls it back. Dierker tugs at the bill of the cap, steps on the rubber, and looks to Edwards for a sign. Healy getting his lead at first. 2-2 pitch. High fly ball to center field. Cedeno drifting into left center, has plenty of room, and makes the catch for out number one. Healy halfway to second, retreats to first. Steve Stone will not bat, and Jimmy Howard will be a pinch batter. Howard, pinch batter in the opening game of the series, and drew a base on balls. Howard, left-handed batter. Either Bryant or Johnson will be called on to do the Giant pitching in the bottom of the seventh. Stone went 2/3 of an inning. The 4 Houston runs charged to John Cumberland. Howard, left-handed batter, heads up towards the plate. Healy at first now with 1 out. The Astros leading 4-2 in the top of the seventh. Dierker taking a lot of time. Now the right-hander is ready. Pitch to Howard. Fastball on the outside corner for a called strike. Dierker glances at first base, now set. The 0-1 pitch. Bounded foul to the right, strike 2. Dierker quickly in front of Howard, 0-2. No 1-2 count on pinch batter Jimmy Howard. Healy away from first. The 0-2 pitch. High and outside. A ball and 2 strikes on Howard. Right-hander Jim Ray throwing in the Houston bullpen. Ron Bryant has stopped throwing for the Giants. So has Jerry Johnson, so we still don't know which one is going to be coming in. Pitch to Howard. Inside, a slider missing, about halfway between the belt and the knees. A 2-2 count. Dierker reading signs from catcher John Edwards. Healy with his lead. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Dierker gets his second strikeout as he gets the pinch batter Jim Howard for the second out here in the seventh, and Willie Mays will be the batter. Mays grounded to short in the first, was robbed of a base hit on a great play by Tommy Helms in the fourth, and grounded into a force out in the fifth. Willie 0 for 3. Healy moves away from first. Dierker's pitch. Inside a fastball. Ball 1. Infield and outfield, around to the left and deep. May playing off the bag at first. Healy leads away. Dierker to the plate. Breaking ball, low and outside, ball 2. A 2-0 count. Dierker behind on Mays. 2 balls, no strikes. Right-hander's 2-0 pitch to Mays. Ball 3, outside. Now Dierker behind 3 balls and no strikes. On deck for the Giants, second baseman Tito Fuentes. Now Edwards calls time and trots out to the mound. Edwards heading back behind the plate. Mays waiting outside the batter's box, now steps back in. 3-0 count on Willie. Healy at first, 2 outs, top of the 7th. Astros 4, the Giants 2. 3-0 pitch. Called strike. On a 3-0 count, Dierker went to a breaking pitch, and it was just barely above the knees. Mays disputing the call. 3-1 count. The 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Mays with a big rip. The fastball up around the letters. Now full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And with 2 outs, Healy can be moving from first base with the pitch. Healy with his lead. He goes. Pitches swung on and missed and decided to retire. Dierker gave up the leadoff single to Healy, then came back to get 3 batters, striking out Howard and Mays. For the Giants in the 7th, no runs on 1 hit. No Houston errors, 1 runner left on. We go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Astros lead at 4-2. Ron Bryant comes on to do the pitching for the Giants. As John Cumberland went 5 1/3 innings, Steve Stone 2/3 of an inning. Bryant last year with the Giants won 7, lost 10. Making his first appearance in 1972. Healy's throw to second base. Catcher John Edwards will lead it off for the Astros. Jim Barr and John Morris go to the Giant bullpen. Morris the left-hander, Barr the right-hander. Bryant and Healy, halfway between the mound and the plate, getting together on signs. Edwards will stand in. Tonight's attendance here in Houston, 10,638. 10638. Edwards grounded to first in the 3rd inning, lined to center in the 5th. Left-handed batter. Bryant's first pitch on its way. Misses. Outside, ball 1. Larry Dierker to follow. In the top of the order, shortstop Roger Metzger. 1-0 pitch. Fastball fouled straight back onto the screen. A 1-1 count. The 1-1 pitch by Bryant. Called strike, a fastball just above the knees. And Edwards shakes his head, walks away from home plate. A 1-2 count. The Astros catcher, Johnny Edwards. Left-hander against left-hander. Bryant into the motion, kicks and throws. Called strike 3, a fastball right down the middle. Bryant strikes out the first man he faced. That's the first strikeout for the Giants pitchers in the ballgame. Dierker will leave the contest after going 7 innings. Jim Stewart will be a pinch batter. Report is that Dierker told manager Harry Walker that he was tiring. The shoulder was getting tired. Stewart will be a pinch batter. Bryant's pitch. Fastball, a called strike to the outside corner, up around the letters. Serve, low and inside. Dug out of the dirt by Healy, a ball and a strike. The 1-1 pitch. Call, strike two. Fastball, belt high on the inside corner. Stewart disagreeing with that call. Bryant and Flood, a ball and 2 strikes. Round to the plate. Fastball, foul tipped into Healy's glove, strike 3. So Bryant struck out the first 2 batters he has faced, Edwards and Stewart. Now it's the Astros shortstop, Roger Metzger. Grounded to third in the first, flied to left in the third, walked and scored a run in the 6th. Metzger, switch batter, batting right-handed. Bryant's pitch. Fastball a bit too high, ball 1. The 1-0 delivery. Call, strike. Bryant's 1-1 pitch. Fouled away to the right, back into the seats. Bryant in front of Metzger, 1-2. Bryant wanders around in back of the pitching mound, rubbing up the new baseball. A 1-2 count on Metzger. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. The Astros in front, 4-2. The 1-2 pitch. High fly ball, short center field. Mays waiting. Waiting. Makes the catch and the side retired. For Houston in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no giant errors, nobody left. The end is 7 full. The Astros 4 and the Giants 2. New pitcher for the Astros to tell you about him, and for the play-by-play, Lon Simmons.
Jim Ray, who pitched in yesterday's ball game, went an inning and a third, gave up a run on 2 hits and struck out 3. Will face Fuentes, Henderson, and McCovey. Dierker, with his shoulder tightening up, went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. Right-hander Jim Ray against Tito, who has 1 hit and 3 tries. Fuentes takes a fastball at the knees, strike 1. Kenny Henderson said that Ray turns the ball over a bit every once in a while. He throws a curveball and screwball. Pretty good fastball. 1 strike pitch. Grounded to first base. May has it on an easy chance. Steps on first, out number 1. 1 man down. Henderson is 0 for 3 tonight. Kenny had a tough night at the plate last night after getting 2 hits in the opener. Batting left-handed against Ray. Ray struck Kenny out in the 4th inning yesterday. The ball got away from catcher on a wild pitch, and the Giants scored a run on it. Henderson takes the breaking pitch for a strike, 0-1. 1 down, bases empty, top of the 8th. The Giants trail 4-2. One strike offering to Henderson. Popped up into short center, going back to the second baseman Helms. Now it is Metzger, the shortstop, and Metzger makes the catch. Henderson pops out for the 2nd out. And Willie McCovey will be batting with nobody on the bases. McCovey tonight has grounded out, walked, and singled. After 7 innings, the Dodgers lead 3-2 over Atlanta. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Philadelphia batting trailed St. Louis 5-3. Ray's pitch to McCovey as a strike at the knees, 0-1. In the American League, identical scores, 4 wins. Baltimore beat the Yankees 4-0, and Cleveland beat Boston 4-0. The 1 strike pitch. Fouled away, and Ray is in front of McCovey, 0-2. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Houston. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Giants. The Giants leave immediately after this game for San Diego. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night in San Diego, and then back home for the Friday night opener at Candlestick Park. Ground ball off for the chest of Ray. Charging in as Metzger. He gets it, throws the first, not in time. McCovey has a base hit. That was hit right back through the middle, and it hit off Ray's chest. He's all right. The infield playing back deep for McCovey. They couldn't get to the ball before he'd legged it out for an infield hit. And now Bobby Bonds, who's 0 for 3, will be the batter. This would be a good spot for Bobby to break into the home run column this year. Fred Gladding starts throwing in the bullpen for Houston. 2 down, and McCovey at first base. Ray takes the stretch for the pitch to Bonds. Low for a ball, 1-0. Yesterday, Bonds batted against Ray and singled. Giants down by 2. McCovey at first. 2 men out. Jim Ray takes the stretch for the pitch to Bonds. Lays off a breaking pitch. It's low for ball 2. 2-0. Gladding must have fallen in love with one of the writers down here. Read that bell. He called him a fat, half-blind pitcher. Unless Gladding wrote it himself, he has to be mad at somebody. 2-0 pitch. Ball 3, too low. Bonds looks now. Johnny McNamara, the third base coach. 3-0 count to him. McCovey at first. Ray delivers 3-0. A strike on the inside, 3-1. He didn't really pick up much of the strike zone with that one. 3-1 strike count. Bonds the batter. McCovey at first. Giants down by 2. Each club with 7 hits. Houston leads 4-2. 3-1 pitch. Driven up the middle. Helms backhands it. Turns, throws. The Metzger got him at second base. Helms has made 3 outstanding plays.
A pack of 10 will keep you in send-off smiles for 2 whole weeks. And that big yellow face can turn even an ordinary sandwich and apple lunch into a real occasion. Stop in and begin collecting Happy Day lunch bags today. You get a pack of 10 free with any gasoline purchase at all standard stations and almost all Chevron dealers. And when you run out, stop in along the Chevron way for more 10 packs of Happy Day lunch bags. Your kids will get more than a lunch out of them.
Ron Bryant will pitch to the number 2, 3, and 4 spots in the batting order. Giants scored 2 runs in the top of the 5th as Cumberland singled with the bases loaded to drive in 2 to put San Francisco in front 2-0. But Rader hit a 2-run homer off Cumberland in the bottom of the 5th to tie it up, and then the Astros scored 2 more in the 6th. That's the way it is now as we're in the bottom of the 8th inning, 4-2. Houston in front of the Giants. And Ron Bryant, the third Giant pitcher, delivers to Cesar Cedeno, takes a fastball high, ball 1. Tommy Helms has certainly been the defensive man tonight for Houston. Pitch is a strike at the knees, and it's 1-1. Ball on a strike count. 1-1 pitch. Fastball, strike 2 on the inside. Bryant pumping those fastballs in there. And Houston. Count of 1-2. Fastball cut foul to the right. Bryant could make a big difference in this Giant pitching staff. Bryant is capable of stepping into a starting position, or a sometime starter, and as a reliever, whatever, if he's capable of pitching the way everybody has predicted he's able to. A bounding ball on 1 hop to Kingman. Long throw in timeout number 1. If Bryant can pitch as he has here, of course, nobody can be that perfect all the time, but if he can pitch anywhere close to it, then he can make a difference in this Giant pitching staff. Jim Wynn, who is 3 for 3. 1 down, bases empty, 4-2. Houston leads in the bottom of the 8th. Fastball misses for ball 1. Don't give up. If you recall last year, the Giants were an 8th and 9th inning ball club. They came roaring back. Pitch outside for a ball, and it's 2-0. Now, Healy goes out to talk to Bryant. He is behind Wynn, 2 balls and no strike. His 2-0 pitch. Ball 3. First time Bryant shows a little weakness as he gets behind Wynn. 3 balls and no strikes with 1 out and nobody on. Walked him on 4 pitches. Bryant gives up his first base on balls. Wynn has a perfect night, and Lee May, who has 1 hit and 3 tries, is the batter. Wynn flied to left twice and singled to left to drive in a run. Bottom of the 8th inning with 1 down. Jim Wynn has a big lead at first. Bryant's curve goes right on by Healy to the screen, and Jim Wynn may have pulled up lame. He goes to second. He looked as though he might have pulled a muscle. I guess he's all right. He reached for his hip as he tried to go to second base. But I guess he's okay. That was a curveball that hit the dirt and bounded back to the screen. Wynn is on at second base. That is a wild pitch charged to Bryant. Well, as soon as I brag about Ron, he gets in trouble. Curve is a strike this time, and it's 1-1. Ball on a strike to Lee May. A runner in scoring position at second with 1 out. Bryant looks back at Wynn at second base. 1-1 pitch, slow curve high for a ball. Somebody must have hit a home run for the Dodgers. Willie Davis did with a man on in the 8th inning. So the Dodgers lead 5-2 over Atlanta with that top of the 8th still going on. Here it's 4-2 Houston. Bryant behind on the count, 2-1 to May. Slow curve, line drive to center. Mays can't get it. It's in front of him for a base hit. Coming in to score is Wynn. And May has driven in the 5th run of the ball game. Curveball out over the plate. May just reached out and hit a line drive to center field. Making it now a 5-2 ball game, and Bob Watson will be the batter. A walk and a wild pitch cost Bryant a run. May is at first with 1 out. 8 hits now for Houston. Bob Watson takes a strike. Fastball good. Giants will have Dave Kingman to lead off the 9th inning. They're down by 3 now, and they'll be at the tail end of their batting order. Fastball inside for a ball, and it's 1-1. May at first base. He's driven in 2 runs tonight. Watson has driven in a run, has 2 hits. He has 5 hits in the last 2 nights. Fastball brushes him back, and it's 2-1. Giants got 2 runs in the 5th. Houston has scored twice in the 5th, twice in the 6th, and once here in the 8th inning. May leads away at first base. Bryant behind 2-1 to Watson. 2-1 pitch, popped up foul. It will be out of play. Count is 2-2 to the Houston left fielder. John Morris and Jim Barr throw in the Giant bullpen. Bryant in the stretch for the 2-2 pitch. On the way to Watson. Ball 3, it gets by Healy, and going to second is May. That will be ruled a pass ball. Healy couldn't hang on to that low inside fastball, and it's a pass ball that moves May into scoring position. A 3-2 count to Watson. Houston in front 5-2, threatening to add more. Bryant trying to stop him here, so the Giants will only be down by 3 going to the top of the 9th. Long look by Bryant has the sign. May leads away from second base. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled. He threw him a breaking pitch on 3-2, and Watson just got a piece of it. Giants willing to gamble there and almost got away with it because Bryant threw a pretty good curveball. Watson was fooled, but just got a piece of it. 3-2 pitch. High fastball, he walked in. Bryant gives up his second walk. Charlie Fox heads for the mound. That may be all for Bryant with the right-hand batting Doug Rader due up here. We'll pause for station identification. This is the Golden West Radio Network.
When you want to hear the sounds of the city, listen to the Dan Sorkin Show from 10 to 1 right here on KSFO in San Francisco. The sound of the city.
The call has gone to the bullpen for Jim Barr. Bryant goes 2 innings, has allowed a run, has given up. I take that he has gone an inning and a third. Won an inning and a third and gives up 1 run on 1 hit. Is responsible for 2 runners on there, struck out 2 and walked 2. Jim Barr makes his first appearance of the year. Jim was struck on the back of the right hand by a line drive Thursday, pitching batting practice. But he's able to work. He and Kingman on the same USC Championship Ball Club in 1970. They're NCAA champion. Last year, Barr was 1-1 with the Giants, 3.60 earned run average in 17 games, 35 innings. He was 6-3 with Phoenix. Big right-hander. He and Don Carruthers went to the same high school in Linwood. Barr at 6'3", 205. Will pitch to Doug Rader with 1 out and 2 on, and Houston leading 5-2 in the bottom of the 8th. The Giants, for the first time, in danger of losing in this 1972 season. Barr to try to get them out. The Giants will have a tough task of it in the top of the 9th. Rader, the batter, with May at second and Watson at first. Rader has a home run tonight and 3 trips. He tied the score in the 5th with a 2-run shot off Cumberland. Takes a strike, a breaking pitch good. It's 0-1. Rader wasn't too sure of that. Right-hander Jim Barr, the 4th Giant pitcher. Outside and low for a ball. It's 1-1. Cumberland started. He went 5 1/3. Stone went 2/3. Bryant an inning and a third. And now Jim Barr in the bottom of the 8th with a run in, 2 runners on, and 1 out. Look back at second at May. Watson leads from first. A breaking pitch low and outside. Ball 2. Barr behind 2-1. Outfield straight away and backed up for Rader. 2-1 pitch to him. Fouled away. Good fastball, and it's 2-2. Barr evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 games in the American League. Today, Cleveland beat Boston 4-0. Baltimore beat the Yankees 4-0. St. Louis leads Philadelphia 5-3 going to the bottom of the 9th inning, but St. Louis has made 3 pitching changes in that 9th. Dodgers lead 5-2 over Atlanta. The Dodgers batting in the top of the 8th. Count 2-2 to Rader. Runners at first and second with 1 down, and Barr goes into the stretch. Looks back at May at second base. Looks again. Comes to the plate, 2-2. Just a bit low, and it's a full count, 3-2. Not that much speed on the bases, but they might send the runners here. Kingman playing back deep at third with Rader up here will have to be alert. May might be going. Now, runners lead. They don't go. The 3-2 pitch. Line drive, base hit. Right field. That one heading for the wall. Bonds can't cut it off. 2 runs will score. And Rader will head for third. He has himself a triple. Rader with 4 RBIs now. The 3 runs in the inning all charged to Bryant. And it's a 7-2 Houston lead with Rader at third. It is Houston tonight getting the long ball. As Tommy Helms will be up, the Giants bring the infield in. The pitch to Helms. Swung on, fouled away, strike one. Rader went with that pitch and hit a line drive down the right field line. Bonds trying to cut it off, couldn't do it. It went all the way to the wall, and 2 runs came in to score on the triple by Rader. Barr pitching from the windup, the one-strike pitch bounded to shortstop. Speier will hold Rader at third, throws to first. Helms is retired for the second out. And Johnny Edwards will be the batter. Now Charlie Fox comes out again. This might be all for Barr with the left-hander Johnny Morris throwing the bullpen, and it is. Fox is going to go for John Morris. This is good a place as any to bring Morris in to see what he can do. Charlie may need him to get a left-hand batter out occasionally, or maybe get more than that out. And with the Giants trailing 7-2 and a left-hand batter up here, might just as well find out what Morris can do. In spring training, he showed a fine arm, a good sinking fastball. Barr goes a third of an inning, gives up a hit, a triple to Rader, and drives in 2 runs. Things have fallen around the Giants' ears here in this 8th inning. And John Morris, acquired in a trade with Milwaukee that sent 2 minor league pitchers to Milwaukee. In the spring, Morris was a non-roster player. He was on the Phoenix roster and pitched his way onto the ball club. John has been around for a while. He doesn't wake up for a 2 o'clock feeding. He's 30 years old. Last year with Milwaukee, he won 2 and lost 2. The overall major league record 9-5. 1968, he was with Baltimore. Started his baseball career in 1960. .6'1", 198 pounds. He lives in Milton, Delaware. Chuck, would you like a Delaware punch? Johnny Edwards, the left-hand batting catcher, to face the left-hander John Morris in the 8th inning. 7-2, Houston leads. Out hitting the Giants 9-7. Raiders at third with 2 men down. And Morris, left-hander, delivers to Edwards, a fastball high, ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, fouled away, and it's 1-1. The Giants are looking for every bit of pitching they can get. Charlie Fox, every time somebody goes out there, has an eagle eye on him to see if maybe the next man that comes to the mound is going to be the one who's going to be the surprise, or the guy that does the job for him. The 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed that sinking fastball, and it's 1-2. A ball and 2 strikes to count. Edwards, the batter. Rader at third. 3 runs in this 8th inning. 7-2. Houston leads the Giants. Swing and a miss. It gets by Healy, but he picked it up. Looks at the runner at third, then throws to first and just gets Edwards. Healy must have been crossed up by Morris on that pitch, because he walked in with Morris talking to him. But Morris comes in to strike out the left-hander. It's 3 runs on 2 hits. No errors, and 1 runner left on. After 8 innings, the totals: the Astros 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. The Giants 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. Philadelphia and St. Louis. Philadelphia scored a run in the bottom of the 9th, but St. Louis hung on with grim determination to win it 5-4. The Cardinals 5 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. Philadelphia 4 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. Santorini, the winner, he's 1-1. Horner, the loser, 0-1. And a good crowd in Philadelphia, 38,182. A large crowd. I don't know if it was a good crowd or not. It might have been the same bunch that's there all the time. But 38,000 there. After 8 innings, the Dodgers led 6-2 over Atlanta, and now Mota has hit a home run with a man on in the 9th for the Dodgers. So they lead at least 8-2. The Giants trail 7-2. Top of the 9th. Dave Kingman, Fran Healy, and Chris Speier, the first three to face Jim Ray. Trailing by 5. Nothing the Giants can't handle. We'll see if they do. And Kingman, who has 1 hit in 3 trips and has scored a run, will be the batter. He got the first hit of the game for the Giants in the 5th inning. Kingman against right-hander Jim Ray. Outfield deep into the left, the infield backed up. Pitch to Kingman. Strike. Slider on the outside. It's 0-1. Watson is barely in the ballpark, the left fielder. He's almost to the warning path in left field. 1 strike count to Kingman. Strike 2 called. Another slider. This one caught the inside corner. And Ray is quickly in front of Kingman, 0-2. Houston right-hander deals off 0-2. Outside for a ball. 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Houston. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Giants. Ray's 1-2 pitch. Line drive to Rader. A ball hit right on the nose, but in the third baseman's glove. Kingman hit it on the nose, but he hit it to Rader for out number 1. And now Fran Healy, as the Giants have just 2 outs left of them here in the top of the 9th. Pitch to Healy is a strike, 0-1. Healy has grounded out, walked, and singled. Ray's pitch. Curve low and away for 1-1. Giants go to Houston. Carruthers scheduled to pitch for the Giants against Tom Phoebus. I go to San Diego. They're in Houston. Go to San Diego tomorrow. Foul ball back, and it's 1-2. Tom Phoebus for San Diego and Don Carruthers for the Giants. That's tomorrow night. Have any idea of what time our broadcast time is, Chuck? Just when we get there? 7:10 broadcast time, morning. Bounding ball is short. Too easy. Hops broken back. Metzger throws to first, and Healy is retired. 2 men down. And Chris Speier is the Giants' last hope. Down by 5 with 2 men out. The base is empty. Alan Gallagher comes out in the on-deck circle to act as a batter in case Speier gets on. And most of the Houston fans figure that it's all over, and they start heading for the exit. Speier bluffs the bunt, takes low for a ball, 1-0. Pitch, fastball, strike. Ball and a strike. Yeah, the Giants have to be happy coming in here to Houston and taking the first 2 games of the series anyway, even if they lose this one. Because this has been a place where they've really had trouble winning. Strike called on Speier, who started to swing, tried to check, fell away from the plate, and Mel Steiner said he swung at the ball, and Speier questions that, but it's still a strike, and it's 1-2. Now the Giants down to their last strike. The 1-2 pitch. Just outside for 2-2. So with 1 strike left and 5 runs behind, what a story this would make, huh? Two and 2 count to Chris. Ball 3. Full count. 3-2. The Giants still with a little life there. Jim Ray pitching to Chris Speier, batting left-handed. 3-2 pitch. Struck him out swinging. And Ray closes it out. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. Houston's win it 7-2, and we'll be back with the final totals in just 1 minute. I'd like to talk to you guys about your wives, about something they might be missing. No, don't worry, I'm not going to be a marriage counselor here. Drop in a little touch of humor there. I just want to remind you that your wife may not have a Bank America card of her own. You know how useful your Bank AmeriCard is to you. Well, if your Bank AmeriCard is useful to you, it can be just as useful, maybe even more so, to a woman. Say, for instance, she gets into an emergency situation with the car when you're not around. A Bank AmeriCard could really come in handy. Or what about the end of the month when you want to know where all the money went? If she had used a Bank AmeriCard, she'd have a written record of all her purchases. And think about how you can cut down on the time it takes to write all those separate checks. Add it all up and see if you don't agree that your wife should have a Bank AmeriCard, too. Bank AmeriCard, think of it as money. His and hers money. Totals on tonight's game: Houston 7 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. The Giants 2 runs on 7 hits and no errors. The winning pitcher, Larry Dierker, and the losing pitcher is John Cumberland. Now this is Lon Simmons for Bill Thompson, our producer Chuck Suggs, reminding you to stay tuned for the Giants Clubhouse which follows. Inviting you to be back with us tomorrow night for the Giants-Padres game from San Diego. Broadcast time 7:10. Our network engineer today was Bob Merle. The final score again, Houston 7, the Giants 2. So, fans, that concludes another Giants baseball broadcast. Tonight's game was brought to you by Chevrolet, who reminds you highway safety begins at home. Buckle up before you leave. By Standard Oil Company of California. The quality of service you get at Chevron dealers and Standard stations will tell you that people really count along the Chevron way. And by the Colgate Dollar Saver, palm olive dishwashing liquid. Also by Ham's Beer. Ham's Tap and Regular is brewed natural for natural drinkability. You're welcome to the big beer-drinking brotherhood of Hams. By Allstate Insurance Company. You're in good hands with Allstate. And by Bank of America, helping more Californians than any other bank with the business of living. This has been another sports presentation of the Golden West Radio Network.
Gentle western cars, take your own sweet time, in a gentle western sunshine, in the green and tender grass. Keep your cream flowing, you got a good thing going. Maybe challenge butter, the best butter in the land. Gentle western cow, making challenge butter, the best butter in the land.
Challenge, the best butter in the land. It's only natural.
Giants Clubhouse is next with Lon Simmons and Bill Thompson. A wrap-up of today's game, scores of other games, and interviews with today's outstanding players on
KSFO in San Francisco.
Time for Giants Clubhouse, brought to you by Langendorf Bread, the nutritious bread with grow goodness, and by Heald Colleges, specializing in career education since 1863.
I'm quite sure the Giants would have settled for 2 out of 3 in Houston before they arrived in Houston. Of course, they wouldn't have settled for 2 out of 3 at the start of tonight's ball game because they already had the 2, and it looked as though they might get 3 when John Cumberland drilled a single to score 2 runs in the 5th inning and put the Giants out in front 2-0. It seemed as though Larry Dierker, the starter for Houston, was tiring a bit. But the Houstons came right back in the bottom of the second on a 2-run home run by Doug Rader to tie it at 2-2. Then took the lead in the very next inning on a walk to Metzger, an infield out by Cedeno, and probably the key to the ball game right there. Metzger was running. Cedeno hit a double play ball to Fuentes, but Tito could only go to first base because the fact that Metzger was running. He was in at second. There was no chance of the double play. Then Jim Wynn and Lee May followed with singles. That was all for starter Cumberland. Steve Stone came in. Bob Watson singled to right field off Stone to drive in another run, and it made it a 4-2 ball game. Houston picked up 3 more in the 8th inning, this time against Ron Bryant. A walk to Jim Wynn after 1 was out. Lee May's single, a walk to Bob Watson, and a wild pitch, and then Jim Barr replacing Bryant, and a triple by Rader to drive in 2 more runs. Rader with a home run and a triple to drive in 4 of the 7 Houston runs. 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Houston. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Giants. Larry Dierker, the starter, who went 7 innings, the winner. Jim Ray gets a save, going 2 innings, giving up just 1 infield hit. The Giants used Cumberland, the loser, Stone, Bryant, Barr, and Morris in tonight's ballgame. Bill Thompson will be introducing his special guest when we return in just 1 minute. Now here's a pitch that all you dads out there won't want to miss. Langendorf is offering free tickets for kids 14 and under to the April 28th game between the Giants and Montreal. That's right, free tickets for any youngster 14 and under when accompanied by a paying adult. All you have to do is pick up a nutritious loaf of Langendorf bread, large white, thin sandwich, or giant. The free ticket coupon is printed right on the bottom of the bag. Just mail it in to receive your advance ticket. That's one free ticket for each prepaid admission, reserve, or box to the April 28th game at Candlestick. Here's the chance you've been waiting for to let your youngsters see big league baseball at its very best. And speaking of very best, that's what you get with Langendorf bread. Only the very best ingredients are baked into Langendorf bread to give you bodybuilding nutrition every body needs. Now here's Bill Thompson.
Well, our guest this evening is Bob Watson, the Houston left fielder, and Bob, who had a big day against the Giants yesterday with a 3-run homer and 2 other base hits, and then had a couple of base hits again tonight that certainly helped out in the Houston win. Bob, I think it has to be a good one for you guys to finally win that first one.
Right, Bill. That, you go along the season, you lose the first couple, and then you start to wonder if you're going to win one, and then that first one's out the way, then you're on your way.
I think another thing, too, that writers are forever bringing up what's happened in past years, and they talked about the fact that the Houston Ball Club in several years has gotten off to horrendous starts.
Right, they always bring it up, I think the first month, a couple of years, we won only 4 games out of 30, and so it's a little pressure on you a little bit, at the start of the season, but I think this ball club we have now, and we're high-spirited and everything, and we're ready to show the people that we can play baseball.
Well, the ball game tonight looked like the first 4 innings that neither team was ever going to score.
Yeah, well, the pitchers are a little ahead of us right now a little bit, I think. But surprisingly, the way the Giants swung the bat the first night and yesterday, after the layoff, I think they're going to make a good showing. And I think myself and Doug and Tommy Helms are swinging the bat pretty good on our ball club.
I read something in the paper today. It's almost unbelievable. I don't know if you were putting a writer on or something about the starts you've had in 3 previous years. Was that really official with bad starts, that bad a start?
Well, it's official. My first year starting with the ball club, 69, I took something like 0 for 21, and the next year 70, 0 for 28, and the last year 0 for 32. And after I get past that first week of playing, then I catch fire and I end up hitting it for the month like 340 or something.
Sometimes a guy could be playing at Oklahoma City if he started that way, couldn't he?
Yeah, I was really lucky to stay around here. But I was hitting the ball hard at the time. I just couldn't buy a hit. I just couldn't buy a hit at all.
Bob, over a period of time, again, speaking of riders, there's been a bum rap attached to your throwing arm. But in this series, you made an outstanding throw to second base the other night on Merritt's shot when he hit a ball into the corner. In fact, it was a very, very close play. I believe Helms thought he had him out. And you made a great throw on McCovey tonight at third base. Was the bum rap thing a fair thing about your arm? Is it improved now or what?
Well, I had a very serious arm injury. I ran into a brick wall and I completely dislocated it. I had an operation where they cut 4 inches off the lead tendon. And this was in 66, and it's been coming back ever since. And this winter I did a lot of arm exercises with weights, certain contraptions they have around. And I went to spring training, and I couldn't believe it. I was really throwing the ball well, and it's still with me, and it feels like it's getting stronger each day.
Now, you were originally a catcher, right?
Right, and then I hurt my shoulder trying to catch a foul ball and ran into the seats, and then I've been to first base and outfield now, and that's where I'm going to be, I guess.
I was going to say, it seems like now you found a home in left field because they put you there most of the time last year. Now you're opening the season here this year.
Well, I think last year I played about half and half first in left field, and then acquiring Lee May sort of cinched me in left field now because he could play first and he really hits the ball game.
The acquisition of these 2 guys, Tommy Helms and Lee May, certainly you had a fine second baseman here before in Joe Morgan, one of a very fine ball player. But Tommy Helms in tonight's ball game made 3 outstanding defensive plays. I think that's one thing they wanted to have Tommy for, the double play. And while Lee May has not hit the long ball, he drove in key runs again tonight.
Right. Tommy Helms, he's a little bit better defensive than Joe is because he has a better arm. Joe didn't have the great throwing arm for a second baseman, but Tommy Helms has a great arm, and he can surprise you. He can get the key base hit. He can hit behind the runner, and Lee Mays, of course, going to hit a lot of home runs for us. They moved the fence in here. That sort of helped me out a little bit yesterday. So these 2 guys are going to help our ball club really a whole lot.
Well, that takes having a guy like Lee May in the lineup. That has to help you and Doug Rader, too. The fact that you don't feel the pressure of having to supply power. You've got a guy who's an established power hitter. You can go and do your own thing.
Right. The last couple of years, they put me in a 4 slot, and I haven't been noted for hitting home runs. I'm more like a line drive hitter, and a lot of writers and a lot of fans were on me. How come you don't hit the home run? And last year I led this ball club in hitting, and they got to the point where they were pitching around me. And now they can't really do that, so to say, because they got Cedeno, Wynn, May, and Rader, and they can't pitch around one particular guy.
I think Rader was hampered quite a bit last year with a bad shoulder or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had a dislocated left shoulder, and that really hampered his swing. And I think just about every time he swung, it popped out. And I think half the season he hung him up, and they had to operate on it.
I've used the statement, the fact that you're a high-spirited ball club, and you know you have a good ball club. That must be a pretty good feeling on your part, because you do have a set lineup, and you have established starting pitchers, and you apparently have a good bullpen, too.
Right. I think this ball club, the way it's going now, has a real good chance to make a showing in the National League, and we want to challenge the Giants this year. We started off really poor a little bit last year. We lost tough games out in San Francisco the first road trip in, and I think that turned us around for the whole season. And we just want to play good ball and show the fans that we can make a run for the National League West.
I think this Western Division, everybody keeps saying it, but I don't think there's any doubt about it unless something sort of strange happens. It should be a very tough race.
I think it's going to be a five-way race. You can't really cinch it. The Giants have an excellent chance of repeating, but also you got the Dodgers has a good ball club, the Reds, the Braves, and ourselves. And you can't count out San Diego because they are winning some ball games now, and they got some young players over there, and that Nate Cover's hitting the ball good. See,
I think that San Diego ball club, they got a pitcher from your ball club in a trade that brought Roberts over here, and all he doesn't go out yesterday and throws a shutout for him his first start.
Right. Bill Greif, he's a young right-hander, throws the ball real hard. I think we had to give him up to get Dave, along with his other kid, Darryl Thomas, and another left-hand pitcher, Mark Schaefer. I think Dave Roberts is going to really help our ball club out. He's an excellent left-hander.
Has to be also, I imagine, reassuring for all of you on the ball club to see Larry Dierker, who was on the disabled list at the end of last year, to come back and pitch so well tonight.
Yes, we're really pleased the way Dierker showed tonight.
With Roberts and Dierker, and of course Don Wilson, who's coming up a fine year, and then this young fellow Jerry Royce that you got in the Cardinals, he could help a great deal too.
Yes, that's how it balances our starting pitching now with two lefties and three righties, and so one team can't stack their lineup against us on those certain days.